and then I'm gonna become a bot, which is cool, super cool. I promise. And then I'm gonna bring in Alex if Alex is ready. I'll just get a thumbs up from Alex, and then And now this is Alex's show.
Yeah.
Alex can greet everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to A/B testing. You were greeted by the bot.
A/B.
Alex. We got the A/B.
Alex and bot.
Alex and bot. A/B testing.
Alex and bot coming at you for A/B testing, episode 58.
58?
Wow. This is 58, if I remember correctly. Is Alex's background different? Alex's background is the same. Mine's different. Are you talking about the colors? Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, Alex has color swaps, so it's the same background, but maybe different colors than you've used.
Yeah, sometimes I use just white. Sometimes I don't use it at all. Sometimes I have sheets finger. I wore Robertables. You inspired me to wear my "I've been here the whole time" pin.
Let's see that. Oh, I've been here the whole time. Pin action. Dig it.
Yeah.
So what's the jam here? What do we?
It's summer. Let's vibe out, man.
I'm like co-hosting this thing. Look a little animated tonight. Thanks, Surly Dev. Appreciate you dropping in with the. Are you okay? You look a little cartoony.
You look a little green, Brent.
You just look a little green. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm here. We'll do one. Let me see. Do the 1080. We'll do one reveal. It is me. Hi. I am here. I am not a bot. Like I am here live. I am not a bot. Okay. I know Bianca was unsure, but I'm not a bot. I promise.
Although, who knows if Brent is just AI these days? It's possible. I mean, AI has gotten pretty good.
That is true. Yeah. There's a particular reason that I'm gravitating bot despite having all of my studio lights on. But we'll talk about that in a bit, and I'll get your opinion on something. But
yeah,
I'm not sure about that other animation. This one is much more realistic. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this one.
What's kind of funny is Brent will occasionally use this in meetings, and depending on how he mutes, sometimes you can still see his mouth move.
Like when I do this, when I mute, but
yeah. I think that's pretty funny.
That's kind of the one, right?
I like it.
The funny thing is you can see it. You can see that I'm muted on the name badge, but I just mute out. Yeah. I used this in a meeting earlier today because I wasn't sure if I was going to be full blown lights on during this and on camera. So I wanted to minimize the amount of time I was lit, by all these lights in meetings today. So it was the first time our department head had seen the bot, and several other people in this meeting. It was like the first time they'd seen the bot. So it was just like, I'm like, I don't know, how does this go over with people? I don't really know, but I don't care either. Really don't. It's a technology stack based thing, Kiara's first question was, how does this work? What am I looking at? And I was like, it's OBS. I can hide my face. And I clicked off something so that it hid. But yeah. What does the team think about this idea of mutes? Lips just running. Yeah, I kind of have to be careful when I've got opinions when I have this to make sure that I'm hardware muted so people don't know that I'm over here grumbling. But yeah. So Dev says I have to set up OBS to do something like that for future meetings when I get a new job, I think. Hey, listen. I know the ins and outs of how this one's set up. I'm not the artist that created this, but I do know the artist that created this, and it's honestly not that hard to rig if you had the art. That's the key piece. The art is one thing. So what does it look like? How does it stack? What are the layers that construct it? And then the other thing that's in here that I'm not sure if you've noticed unless you've watched really carefully, but it sways a little bit every now and then. Obviously it blinks on a timer. There's animations for things like the cup, the drink sip.
Yeah.
And that has sound, but I just have it turned off for now. But it's cool. It's definitely cool. Also want to do similar effects to finite singularity. Oh yeah, finite's awesome. We dig the finite singularity. Finite singularity, Alex, is a prolific creator of OBS plugins.
Oh, cool.
Has made like all kinds of really good plugins, and their stream is awesome. He has these clones. He's on a green screen, but it looks like his office, and there's a door that goes into the office, and sometimes someone will walk out. He will walk out of the door and come and hand himself something. Like, it's really clever. I'll send you some clips.
That sounds wild.
It's awesome. It's awesome. He's fantastic. I hung out with him a lot at TwitchCon this past year.
Nice. And he's in our business. He's a developer educator. I like it.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. The green screen effect background is his real background. Yeah, it's true. It's good. It's really good stuff, and he's great to learn from too.
Nice.
He builds all of his plugins live.
It was because it definitely took me a minute to figure out OBS, and I still am not like amazing at it, but there's just like a little bit of a learning curve at first that I had to get over to start using it. Now I use it all the time. I actually don't have it on right now, but like I have my lower third. I can set up all these different overlays, so it's really easy to line my camera up because I move my camera around a lot. Like, it's super nice and easy once I got it, but like it's not trivial.
No, it's definitely not. As someone who used to create a lot of content about how to use OBS, I can tell you it's not the easiest thing in the world to teach either. But there are sort of best practice-y kind of things that do make some aspects of it a little easier once you get used to them.
Yeah.
Ways to structure, like when you're doing this if you're doing this for meetings, you don't have nearly as much of this challenge. But like Tables is saying, certain things like there's composability that you can do where like you can put scenes inside of scenes. Scene nesting. And that's where it gets kind of really powerful because you can build, that's how this whole thing is constructed, by the way. It's multiple scenes compose this bot. Mm-hmm. For instance, there's the head, there's the hat, or the head. I think the hat's on the head. There's the body, there's the desk, there's the cup. There's like all kinds of different composable pieces, and then you just add them to a scene inside of OBS and change their position so that they stack on top of each other. And you could do all of that stuff in OBS with other stuff like alerts and chat boxes and things like that.
And Robertables has a point. It's understandable for a programmer. If you have that technical bend, it's achievable. But also, yes, Surly, you are 100%. At a past job, I had somebody be like, I use OBS, it's great. And I'm like, downloaded it, and then nothing. Because it's just like I couldn't get past that learning curve. And it took being here with Brent. And honestly, it took a year or two of working here before I got it set up.
Yeah, it's a complex piece of software. If you think you need to use everything, it's complex in the same way that Photoshop is complex or Premiere Pro is complex, but like at the core, the like simple things that you need to get done in Premiere or the simple things you need to get done in Photoshop really only use like 10% of the features. And that's any tool, but like it's really easy to look at OBS. Yeah, there you go. It's really easy to look at OBS and go, oh, that's a lot of stuff. I'm never going to learn it all. And the reality is, you're probably not ever going to learn it all, but the good news is you don't need to know all of it.
No.
So anyways,
I was using this morning to make sure everything was lined up.
Yeah.
Just little things.
Stuff sweet.
Yeah. It's a cool tool once you get to know it. But yeah, I'm still a newbie and I haven't gone that deep.
It's all good.
All good. But anyways,
what are we doing today?
Why are we here? Where am I?
We're 10 minutes into rambling, and Roberta was like, yeah, no kidding. You said it was going to go off the rails immediately. And yes, I did say it was going to go off the rails immediately in my Discord.
It's almost like
definitely a thing.
Why even have rails?
Why have rails? We rarely stay on them.
No.
And we're going to be even more off the rails today because
we are.
The topic
has
no rails.
Topic has no rails. Vibes. It's vibes. Vibe coding.
It has no rails. I mean, it has some rails. Recognize that the rails were just a suggestion. No kidding. I mean, I feel like on my streams, it's always a suggestion. I bought into the chat controls the stream thing very early. And they really do when they're here and do stuff. Yeah, it worked. you questioning my tech. Actually, I almost did not have StreamerBot running, which is what powers that. So the first thing that happened when I joined that Zoom meeting earlier today was oh, show them that you can drink water, and I pushed the button and it did nothing. Like, of course
that helps.
Of course.
Yeah. It never works when you need it to.
No, I wasn't running the software, so of course it didn't work.
Yeah.
All right, so vibe coding.
So, I want to can we start by defining it? Because like,
can we define it? I would be happy question. To. So like, I would be happy to.
I had a conversation. You know, I feel like this happens a lot. I was at a barbecue this weekend and was talking to some other people in tech or tech adjacent things, and you know, we were talking about like vibe coding and doing it. And someone's like, I vibe code, and I was like, tell me about it. He's like, yeah, I did this thing, and then I had AI write it, but then I was like looking over it. I was like, okay, to me, that's using AI as a coding assistant. That's different than vibe coding. To me, vibe coding is literally like hands off, let it go. Now, I think there's different levels, but I'm curious, where do you fall on that, Brent?
Okay, so yeah, one of your suggestions when we were lining this up was like to like sometimes let the person show through, not just the bot. Also want to address this really quickly. I'm not a game expert in terms of like game engines. But let's try to figure that out during the course of this stream. If you stick around, let's poke around and we'll try to get you an answer. I'm like, this is a world that I want to get into a bit, but have not at this point. I do know of game engines. I just don't know which ones map perfectly to the PlayStation 1 era. So let's poke around. Maybe we'll ask for a little AI assistance on that too as we move through. And maybe we can try to do something with a PS1 style game aesthetic using, because we're doing vibe coding. Like it's worth the question. Like, hey, can you come up with a sample game that looks like PS1? I think so in terms of engines, I mean, Unreal is a pathway to take. I know Godot is something that I'm not sure about 3D for Godot, but I would say check out Unreal. I'm, like I said, not an expert, but we can find more of an answer as we go through.
I also want to just like, I'm gonna have very little ad there since I've never done game stuff, but I think whichever, like, best is very subjective, and like it's whatever has the most, in my mind, documentation and examples.
Yeah, I would say okay. So Unity, Godot, or Unreal Engine is probably like, those are the three main ones that you're likely to find. Not only that you can create stuff in 3D, but you're likely to find support. So let me just let's see, Unreal Engine, Unity, and Godot. So yeah, those are where there's where I would start. And like, honestly, I think you can do what you want in any of them. It's like anything else. Find the one that's most comfortable for you.
Has anyone done anything with 3JS?
I have not.
Okay. It's like a JavaScript three-dimensional
it's JavaScript
game thing.
Stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the definition. So I did like one of the things you said was like, let the person shine through for some of the opinion. What is the easiest? I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of great things around the approachability of Godot. So maybe I would start there. Not sure. Okay, me. Vibe coding. Yeah, I know. Shocking. Yeesh. Vibe coding. In my opinion, it's not the bot's opinion. In my opinion, vibe coding is absolutely letting the LLM do all of the coding, and you only get yourself involved when needed. And we'll talk about some of those points, but that's my definition. I'm going back to bot, but I wanted to at least set the stage there. And I'll go back to bot boy. And one of the things that I'll say is like, yeah, face reveal, crazy, huh? We do that sometimes. there's a I'll get into more detail. I've got an interesting analogy that I think helps here.
Yeah, I mean, I big fan of the AI Daily Brief, and he does NLW does long reads over the weekend, and he read a piece by somebody just talking about like basically like my AI skeptic friends have it wrong, but he was talking about how I'll find the article in a minute, but the author was talking about how to him AI is just like a mediocre coder, and it raises the floor, and he uses it as a mediocre like entry level coder. He doesn't, that's not vibe coding in my mind, because it's really more about like letting it do the first drafts. Like I do that for my blog posts. AI writes my first draft for blog posts a lot of the times. It does it for my scripts in a lot of different ways. So like, I feel like it's good there, but I feel like it's not at the place where it's just like, that's all you need. And maybe it'll get there, maybe not. Like
maybe not.
Things are starting to plateau a little bit.
Here's another way I've been thinking about it. So from a pure perspective, like, what did the original person that coined the term have in mind with this? Like, terms evolve, right? But I think if we're going to talk about vibe coding from the standpoint of how it is being sort of defined and put out there, the big thing is you're just giving in to that sense of control. Like, you are asking for something to be built. You're saying yes when it asks you questions most of the time. Like, sometimes, very rare occasions, it'll want to do something that I know is wrong, and I will interject and say, no, you should do this instead. But most of the time, at least on the first pass, I'm trying to let it do the work, and scope this appropriately. Absolutely scope this appropriately. Prototypes, MVPs, first drafts of an idea, the first time that you're using a new API, like, insert all of these different things, right? And don't ship this to production. Don't ship this in. It's not enterprise grade, right? You need to be involved for that. And there's some gradients here, because I think the other term that I've heard bandied about is AI assisted coding.
Yeah.
And I think, AI assisted coding is when I'm in something like Cursor, and I'm constantly looking at the code and the results and the questions I'm asking the agent and all of that stuff, right? That's a different thing, and it has more control for you. So like, I want to separate the two of those. I think those are both valuable tactics, but they're different for the purposes of this discussion for one primary reason. And I think us as developers complicate this a little bit, because we do know code, at least, on some level. So we have that curiosity to know, like, is this code that's being generated correct? Would I have done it this way? Whereas the people that are really looking at this to see, can I experiment? Can I try something new? Are often coming from less experienced angles. And I don't want those people to feel like they can't play in this world. I just want them to know that if they hit a point, if they try to do something too complex, they're likely to not be able to get it over the finish line, even for a simple project. So it's really about expectation setting. I do want to say I've had a lot of success with this if scoped correctly. Also, hi, Ellieface. Convertibles, yes, Cursor is otherworldly. But like, I just want people to know, like, you do not need to be an expert programmer to make things happen with these tools.
Yes, to an extent. And my hope, and again, I'll explain my relationship to all this in a bit, but like, my hope is that you use AI to get somewhere, you hit a wall, and you learn what's going on to get past that.
Yeah, and what's really cool,
but I think a lot of, in the AI world, people are going to hit walls. AI is not going to be able to fix it, and they're going to give up because they're used to just telling AI what to do and it working.
Yes, and I think there's an opportunity.
That's me too.
There's an opportunity for both parties to learn, though. that's the interesting part is I've hit a couple walls that I thought I would not get through with AI, and I learned a lot in getting it to work. But like, I feel like to a certain extent, as much as, you know, they really don't necessarily learn other than the memory that they're keeping track of the conversation. I have seen some moments where I've broken through a problem that I was stuck on with vibe coding, where I felt like both me and the agent, the LLM agent, kind of broke through. You know what I mean? But kind of in the same way that if you were pair programming with someone, they brought up something that they thought would be helpful, and then like you both had a eureka moment and figured it out. I have seen that happen with Claude Code. And yeah, Ellie's right. A lot of folks hit one tiny struggle and give up. And I think you're gonna run into moments like that with this, especially if you're a less experienced programmer. And we can poke around, but like there are definitely walls that you'll hit. There are patterns that you will see and learn to know when the AI is getting stuck. Anytime you see it try to apply the same fix that didn't work more than once, it's time to break the loop, give it a rule to never try that again. And you don't have to be, this doesn't have to be a super formal thing. You just tell it, hey, this is the second time you're trying a thing that we both know does not work. Please make a note to never try this again. And it won't. Like, all it's there to do is follow rules. So, I mean, if you give it a rule, it's going to follow it. So like, that's one thing to watch out for. And I've seen it, I've seen it enough times to know that this is one of the pitfalls, is that like it tries to get creative and it tries to solve problems that it can't necessarily solve in its path of thinking. And you need to like nudge it to try something else, to like look up another way to do it, because it'll go search the web and find another blog post or document, and like all of a sudden it's implementing it correctly. So like you just have to have some patience with this, I think.
Yeah, I get that. And I also think I'm like thinking about the different like groups I run in that like complain about it in different ways, and like here we're actually trying to figure out how to embrace it more, because there's so much documentation, there's so many examples in so many different languages of using Twilio with, like, let's say JavaScript, for example. Great one. I talked to some of the friends that I have in robotics, and they think that this whole thing is crazy. It's because they're either writing in C++ or Rust, they're writing very complicated robotics code, and even before this, they were complaining about code styles of developers. So like it was in their nature to just like want things to be a certain way. And I just think like it's going to be really hard for kind of the edge of certain techs for AI to really do it. But if you're building a website, it's been done. Like AI can really help. Yeah.
I've been surprised to see like how much better these things have gotten at programming languages that it was really bad at first, you know? And like, that's kind of fun to see the evolution there to a certain extent. And this stuff's all just, it's only going to get better, I think, over time. We were talking about definitions. I just wanted to make sure that I am able to present content later, because that's a thing that I will be doing. It's been a while, friends. But this is the tweet, the Zeet, the X, the whatever you want to call it these days.
That's a thing?
No. XEET. You never heard that one?
No, but I don't know if I like it or not.
But this is the tweet that started it. There's a new kind of coding I call vibe coding, where you fully give into the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists. I think that part right there, the forget that the code even exists, is the key differentiator here between vibe coding and like working with cursor and that kind of thing. So moving forward, it's possible because the LLMs are getting too good. Also, I just talked to Composer with Super Whisper. If you're not familiar with Super Whisper, it's a way to use your microphone to transcribe what you're saying and input it directly into a text box. It uses Whisper, so AI on top of AI, essentially. Cursor Composer is now the Cursor agent inside of Cursor. Just talked to Composer with Super Whisper, so I barely even touched the keyboard. I ask for the dumbest things like decrease the padding on the sidebar by half because I'm too lazy to find it. I accept all always. I don't read the diffs anymore. When I get error messages, I just copy paste them in with no comment. Usually that fixes it. The code grows beyond my usual comprehension. I'd have to really read through it for a while. Sometimes the LLMs can't fix a bug, so I just work around it or ask for random changes until it goes away. It's not too bad for throwaway weekend projects, but still quite amusing. I'm building a project or web app, but it's not really coding. I just see stuff, say stuff, run stuff, and copy paste stuff, and it mostly works. And that's in February. Like, we've come a long way since February, believe it or not.
I didn't realize that was only in February. I thought that was earlier.
Right. And and this stuff has gotten better since February by a long shot because Claude Code popped up, and notice this isn't mentioning Claude Code,
no,
right? Or any of those tools that are designed for this so that you're not copying and pasting stuff. So like, that's interesting. It's evolved so much in this short period of time that even the tools mentioned in the original tweet are not necessarily the jam. So I find that interesting. I find that like really compelling. But yeah, that's the person that coined the term. They are, OpenAI. I think they were,
yes,
they were the founding part of the founding team at OpenAI. Has taught at Stanford. They're building a new thing called Eureka Labs, but like, yeah, it's a notable person in the AI community that has coined this term. So like, I don't know. I'm one to lean on original definitions, especially that one is so well constructed. Like, it really captures the essence of I'm not doing anything here. I'm just asking for stuff.
Yeah. And I think here's where I'm curious to see, because I think there's an interesting thing to do, which is how far can you get on pure vibes?
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, what do you do? And I think that's interesting because like I'm more excited about that. I'm honestly more excited about like having most AI write the first round of code for me. I'm curious if anyone in chat is using AI in different ways. I know Robertable's mentioned Cursor earlier. I know Brent, you're using Claude Codes. What are people doing? Are they using AI in different ways? I feel like a lot of it's probably dependent on like if you work somewhere that lets you use it, you're probably using it differently. But I'm curious, what in chat is y'all's experience of using AI in some way to code?
Yeah, I would love to know what chat's up to with this stuff too,
Mm-hmm.
because it can help inform the discussion moving forward as well. Yeah. I also thought like, it would be irresponsible if we didn't just do some. So
we got to just do some. I want to know what your stack is too.
Hold on a second. What did I just do?
I'm curious.
What's that?
No, I'm curious what your stack is.
Oh, okay. So like I'm let me pull this up and go back here. Okay. Oh my goodness. I activated a where is it? Narrator. There it is. I hit a key that was activating Windows Narrator, which is not helpful for what we're trying to do here. Not sure if you noticed, but it's not super helpful.
I also am curious about this. Really quick break here. Yeah. Roberto's uses ChatGPT and Cursor for his tabletop RPGs as a DM and a player, but hasn't done this for code. That is so cool.
Oh wow, my background. I didn't move the new background to the flipped view. Watch this little transition.
Whoa!
it's the old colors. Thanks. Okay, well,
nice.
I just won't face the screen.
Okay, so we've got some people using ChatGPT and Cursor. Robertables, I'd love to at some point hear what your setup is for running games. Evan says is using Claude Codes, Cursor, and Super Whisper.
Let's see.
By the way, if you need somebody to attest Brent to me making really solid brisket, you can ask Evan. He was there.
Oh, okay.
He got to try some.
Is this text too big? Good.
I think that's a solid size. I don't know what you guys think, chat, but
okay,
it's good for me.
So what we're gonna do is
Frackberg's used it to convert scripts from Bash to PowerShell, I think. Surly has used Copilot to write utility that I created years ago, but I lost the source code. I would define it, review the code, refine my specifications, iterate around and around, reviewing and the diff and committing between each iteration. That's very much a coding assistant. I love that workflow.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And thank you, Evan. I need that. I need positive reinforcement.
We need all the validation. So I've created a project folder and a vibes folder under that project folder. And you were asking what's my stack. Well, I've tried a few things on this machine. Spoiler alert, I don't know if y'all pay attention to like all tech news and that kind of thing. But this is running Tahoe. So I'm on the beta. This is the 26.0 beta that just dropped yesterday on this machine. So
fancy.
We can play around with that in a bit. I actually have Xcode loaded on here for a particular reason. And there's a reason why there's an Xcode folder in our vibe coding thing. And it's because Apple dropped something that I would love to take a look at here. But this is the beta. So, you know,
Brent, you know what? That reminds me of, I don't think it was my first time on stream, my first time coding on stream.
What's that?
The first time I coded on stream, my computer said Xcode is out of date and needs to update.
I remember that.
Stream. So we talked a lot about food.
I remember that. Yeah. So I want to start with Claude Code because I think Claude Code has been my favorite place to play. Let's see. Let's do what is something that you want to build? Like, give me an example of something that we could try to do.
I mean, I got one just popped into my head when you said play MP3. Can we make just a Rickroll detector?
A Rickroll detector, like it looks at a link and determines whether it goes to the Rickroll. Like whether if it's a redirect that goes to the YouTube for the canonical Rickroll one that has a bajillion views. Is that what we're gonna do? Okay, let's do that. I like that a lot. And we'll do a simple web interface where you can paste in a URL and then it checks to see if it's the official Rickroll video.
Okay,
so we're gonna drop into Claude Code. Like Claude Code, you just literally Claude. If you
Claude. Cool.
Actually, wait. Let's make a Rickroll detector. I like this.
Sure.
And then we'll go into that directory and we'll Claude from there. Okay, like this is new. One of the things that I've been talking about as I've been going through this process of trying to become an expert on this is like Claude Code updates constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I was recording one day for a YouTube video I'm putting together, and it updated 4 times during the course of a 6-hour period where I was recording screencasts. And you'll know because it'll say update available at the bottom of the Claude Code interface. This is new. Do you trust the files in this folder? They just added this. I think this is part of Claude 4 coming out because we've seen that it does some more advanced reasoning with stuff and they're worried about some guardrails on things. So like here, they're just saying, hopefully you trust this code. Like this is code that you've written, or there's no code in this folder, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't want you to run Claude Code on something that you don't know anything about because it could just execute arbitrary stuff if you've said, yes, just do it too many times. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can get yourself in trouble. So that's interesting. This is a new prompt. So we'll hit 1 to go in. Auto update failed. Well, that's fun. I haven't seen that one before. This is obviously
Claude Doctor.
This is obviously a new machine. So like, who knows why? Let's do. What was it? Claude Doctor.
It said run Claude Doctor.
Okay, let's see what Claude Doctor does.
I also appreciate Toefrog here. Do you trust this? Not really, but YOLO.
It could be npm permissions. Let's see. npm permission issues detected. Can't update itself because it doesn't have sufficient. Use local installation recommended. Install Claude to your home directory using the / command migrate installer. Yeah, let's do that. That seems reasonable. I
also appreciate.
Do I have to do it from inside of Claude? Is that a slash command inside of Claude? Maybe it is. Yeah, there it is. Migrate installer.
Did you hear the reason why the Claude team said they haven't made an ID and they just have it all in the command line?
No, I didn't see that.
I'm paraphrasing, but they said something along the lines of, we think that in not too long the IDE is going away because of how you're interacting with code in these ways, and they decided that they didn't want to spend time building a front end, and instead just wanted to make as minimal of a product that they could to help with coding, since they think that coding is going to change so drastically in the near future.
I kind of dig that. Let's relaunch term here. My key bindings are different.
And yes, they do have a VS Code cursor plugin.
Yeah.
So that's there. There's all these different ways. I know, like I've used a few different tools for that.
Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so now that's working. Let's get back into our project folder. Projects, vibes, Claude. And then we're doing the Rickroll detector. And now we'll go into Claude once again. Okay, now we're in business. Now we're in business. So they have a new way to set that up, apparently. My npm permissions are likely kind of wonky because this is a brand new machine and I kind of haphazardly threw stuff on this machine knowing we were doing this today. So who knows? But here we are, right? So tips for getting started: ask Claude to create a new app or go clone a repository somewhere. If you're already sitting inside of a repository or a code base, you can ask it to help you like understand that code base. I've done a bunch of that. It's awesome. And you really, I like point 3, be as specific as you would with another engineer for the best results. So like if you just say, build a Rickroll detector, you're going to get garbage.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, that's not good enough for much of anything. You've not told me what programming language you'd like to use. You've not told me anything about whether it's a web application or a mobile application. Like, there are a lot of things missing in just saying build a Rickroll detector. Now, we could go down this path, but like, I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to. I like to start from like phrasing it like I'm sort of asking for what I would like to do. Like I want
more specific than a product owner would be to an engineer.
Yeah, exactly. I want to build a web-based Rickroll detector. Let's see. Chris, are you gonna be like a big toe / thumb this entire stream?
He might. Here's the scary part, and Chris is my hero. That's true. No, I'm thinking back to what Robertables is saying. You know that at some point product owners are going to be they're going to say, "Hey AI, I need to tell my engineers to make a Rickroll detector. Can you please write specifications for that?"
Right.
And then they're going to be sending it over to the engineer who's going to copy those specifications into Claude or Cursor or whatever it is.
I got to figure out which of my buttons here can do. Maybe none of them. I don't have the option to do new lines, so we're just not going to do new lines. Apparently, I'm connected through Parsec, so like I don't have my typical. Does Shift Enter work? Nope, everything's just enter. Okay, that's a bummer because I like to separate things out by lines for readability from the human perspective, but I apparently can't do that in this environment. So that's okay.
Space a lot until you get to the next line.
Yeah. I want to build
Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Based Rickroll detector. On let's see. On the web page. Wait, we want to do Node? Let's do Node.
Let's do Node.js.
I want to use Node.js. On the web page, I should be able to paste in a URL. See, this is where the super whisper thing would come in handy because I have to type all of this as opposed to just saying it. so I can see the value in that.
Do you use both Super Whisper and Mac Whisper?
I actually don't use Super Whisper.
Okay, you use Mac Whisper.
And I don't do that either. I like to type, but I have set Mac Whisper up to do that.
Okay.
I just haven't gotten into a real habit of doing that for this workflow yet. And maybe that may actually be an unlocker to just talk to this thing. I do it in other situations. I use ChatGPT's voice mode all the time. Because it's like a conversation, but behind the scenes, it's logging it all in text. So on my treadmill desk behind me, there are nights where instead of watching something, I will just learn about something, or organize my thoughts on something with a headset and just talking to ChatGPT. Like I've done that on several occasions.
It's my problem, because I've tried it before. So when I like make the Twilio update show, I have a whole scripting process, and I basically like write out the story outline and have a writer help me make it sound good. But I've tried to do it with like voice dictation, but I'm just when I talk, I'm so all over the place, versus like when I write, I can kind of be a little more almost like thinking like organizing in 3 dimensions, as opposed to like when you're speaking, it's a 4th. Like I can like move stuff up and down. I can go back to ideas and like route things around. It just feels more visual when I do it typing. But I also like to just talk, as is apparent by me being on stream.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Chris is saying having a conversation with ChatGPT is helpful in a few situations. I've found it helpful in a lot of situations. I would question the few, but it depends on what you're trying to do. Like it depends largely on the types of things that you're trying to accomplish, because it is a real-time conversation, and it's I have found help even in just getting the ideas out of my head and having them structured just by talking into the void. Like, hey, can you help me organize some thoughts? And what does it care? It's a text generator.
Yeah,
so
that's a
of
good
course
point.
it can. When a URL is submitted, it should check to see if the URL leads.
Do you want me to find the URL for you for the?
I'm gonna try to see if it can do it without.
Okay.
If it leads to the Rickroll video.
On YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube of Rick Astley's. Never gonna give you up.
What year was it? I was gonna say, like, I thought you were gonna be like,
no, I'm not gonna be super specific. I want it to reason through what the canonical URL is. It'll be interesting. Should we say, check for redirects, because people on the internet are rude and crafty.
Let's go, and then let's say if it does point to the video, share a Rickroll GIF. Otherwise, say that it is safe.
Oh. Okay. If it is a Rickroll, display a Rickroll GIF. If it's not, return safe in green text. Just trying to make it interesting. I think this is sufficient to try. We'll see. I think this is sufficient to try, though. It may ask clarifying.
This is how we're going to get to more ARR than people in our company, Brent. We just got to beat 2 million ARR with this idea.
No kidding. All right, let's see what it does. It's going to create, what I love is it creates a to-do list usually. And it shows you kind of how it's analyzing it. So it's going to create a to-do list. Set up Node.js project with package.json, create HTML front end with URL input form, Express.js server, implement your redirect detecting logic, add YouTube video ID detection for Rickroll. And there's more stuff than we care. And here's where the vibes set in. Now I got options.
I feel like
the pure vibiest of options here is 2. Yes, and continue, which I will often do when I'm doing this. Today I won't, because I want you to see how many times it goes, but I'm going to hit 1 every time, unless it does something really, really dumb.
Now, just like think about cost here, like because I just see tokens clicking up. I have no idea how much those cost.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I have Claude Pro, which is the $20 a month. So it's not actually going to rack up dollars in that sense the same way as it would if I was using the API key directly, which you can do. I can tell you, if you've seen my conversation relay demo that's going to go in that YouTube video, it was less than $5. The original build of just the conversation relay piece was less than $1.
Okay.
So I mean, it's pretty cheap on the whole. I've had sessions that went for hours that I thought, oh crap, this is going to cost a lot of money. It's not expensive at all.
Okay.
Because it prioritizes when it can the cheaper models. So
oh, nice.
Your mileage may vary. Like you can actually tell it to use the more expensive ones too. But yeah, this is cool.
And if you have the $20 a month thing, you have unlimited with this?
You have unlimited within like reason. Like you can make a certain amount of requests per 5-hour period. Okay. You should be good to go. If not, I can drop down to my API key and charge it directly.
Got it. Okay.
So now it's asking if it wants to create index.html. Like if you said yes and don't ask again, it'll just create files like the rest of the time. So I'm just going to continue to hit 1. I'm just going to hit 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Normally when I do this, I hit 2 and I let it go.
I mean, that's the vibiest.
Yep. That's the vibiest.
I like how it's creating a checklist.
Yeah. And it checks them off. One of the things that I normally do that I didn't do on this one that we'll talk about when we talk about prompt improvements is I normally say, create a file where you log out all of your decisions and also the prompts that led to them. So like if I prompted something that led you to do something, I want you to capture that.
I like that.
So now it's creating server.js.
One of the things I've thought about doing is be like, comment your code regularly so I can.
Yeah. The other one that's super powerful is like create a Git repo and check in frequently. Create a feature branch for any new feature. It's done, by the way. Wow. So app includes URL input form with enter key support because I asked for that explicitly. Redirect following to catch sneaky URLs. Detection of the main Rickroll video IDs. Interesting. We'll have to dig into that. Rickroll GIF display for detected Rickrolls. Green safe text for clean URLs. Now, does it work? Who knows? So
and it tells you how to start it. Start the server. It said
I could actually tell it to do that. I like to do it I like to drop and do
I appreciate that it told you how.
But yeah, it always gives you like steps for how to do it. If this was a Twilio app, it would tell you to go update the .env file before running it and that kind of thing. So let's do that. And
Robertables had a point. He said, honestly, have it create the checklist and then hand it off to a junior mid developer. Am I thinking wrong? Maybe not, but what would happen then is you hand that off to your junior mid developer who's just going to throw this back into whatever AI they want.
Okay, so I did npm run dev so that if it needs to make any changes, we can just reload it. But we've got it running. At this point, what is it? Localhost 3000, right?
Classic.
Let me go over to what we got, Safari. My key bindings are all weird. Localhost 3000. There's the Rickroll detector. Now, we need the actual. Let's test it against the actual Rickroll.
Cool. I'll in the meantime create a short link.
You can create a short link that goes to it. I'm gonna go to YouTube and get the canonical though.
Yeah, I need that too if I'm gonna create a short link.
Yeah. So we want the Rick Astley. Now, can we just search Rickroll? Is YouTube smart enough?
I mean, 1.6 billion views. I think that's it.
1.6 B. Yeah, that's probably it. I would imagine. Got ads.
I know. I just had an ad too.
All right. So that's the canonical. Let's see. Let's see what happens with that. Rickroll detected. And we got a Rickroll GIF. Let's do Twilio.com. Green, safe with a check emoji, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Wait, hold on. I need to check something really quick. That's so funny if this is I'm looking at our like Twill.io short links. And somebody already
Oh, there's
created
probably already one in there.
but I tried to create not-a-rick-roll and it's already there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's probably correct.
It came over from the old version. It does
Yeah,
not do what we need though,
it's
because
correct, the original.
Yeah.
That one probably goes to classic.mp3.
It does.
But I bet like that wouldn't detect that here because it's checking for the URL, I'm guessing. But we could add that to the list of URLs.
Yeah.
The classic.mp3. Once we see yeah, what is that? What is that link?
Not-a-rick-roll. Oh, what's the actual link?
Yeah.
/doc/classic.mp3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Twilio classic mp3. I know this is searchable. There it is. There it is. This one. Yeah. That's definitely it.
Yeah.
Okay. What if it links to a MIDI arrangement? Yeah, seriously. We would need some more.
We would need some smarts there. Here, I got your short URL though.
Let me leave this. Yeah, drop it in chat.
Cool. We'll do.
That'll be easier for me to grab. Okay.
I know we might need to go into AI audio analysis for anything.
I clicked it. Right click. Copy current address. Paste. No, that's not the URL. What is it? Twill.io. Twill.io / is it a roll?
Mm-hmm. Can you zoom in on your screen here?
Yeah.
Oh, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's to the spec. To the spec, it works. Which, you know, like, I mean, it's a goofy prompt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a goofy prompt, but I've lost you now. I've got to find where that window is. What did I do? There it is. There we go. Yeah, because I couldn't see the screen. Anyways, yeah. So this works as is, and as I showed before, like if you just did, you know, Twilio.com or whatever. Lost the ability to highlight though. Like Twilio.com or something else that's not. I hit enter this time. It's marked safe. So I know it's like maybe against. Well, actually, let's not even look at the code. Let's go. Let me grab.
Oh, it's just me now. Hi, everyone. I don't know where Brent went. He just left the whole stream. I don't know where he went, but hi, Robertables.
Wow.
Hello, Brent.
Wow. Fail.
That happens.
I dropped the mic. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it works. I'm out of here.
Peace. Vibe coded.
Oh, my screen, my keybinds are so messed up because I'm in Parsec. I'm like remoted into this Mac. So like my keybinds are so goofy that I just effectively hit back on the wrong window, which is great. Great. This is great entertainment. This is what you guys tuned in for,
this
right?
This is my
definitely what you're here
with
for.
Like why I hate like doing anything through like an ad or a link on like Instagram. I always hit the wrong back at some point, and I'm back in Instagram and everything's gone.
Juggling two machines and everything. Okay, so what I was trying to do was get back here so I can grab this classic MP3 and take that back to the terminal because I want to.
We're not seeing your screen right now.
Oh, come on. You could have helped me out on that one.
I could have.
Why are you hanging me out to dry? Alex is like, no, this is your show.
This is your show now.
This is your show. Okay.
You're right. Because I just felt like I thought you were my super whisper.
Gotcha. Oh. Fair. All right. So this worked well. Let's create a Git. Oh, I wonder because this machine. Well, we'll see. Let's create a Git repository and check in the initial version. Let it go for that.
Right. How long before we have AI stream producers?
There's already some stuff out. There's already stuff out there from a company that I don't like, and I'm hoping some other companies will jump on it. But there's already revertibles more often than not. The second thing it's going to do after git init is it's going to create a git ignore. It's in its rule set, but there is a thing from Streamlabs who I don't like. There's a thing that they're working on that is a stream companion that will like talk to you, elevate things from chat, but can also like change scenes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's that's already a thing that's happening. There's also a weather channel that me and Revertibles watch on YouTube, Ryan Hall, that has an entirely automated 24/7 weather channel. It's amazing, and that's got a bot and can do scene swapping and stuff like that. Nice. All right, let's do the git init. Current branch main doesn't have any commits. Yeah, it'll fix that. There's the git ignore for new tables. There's the git ignore that'll take those node modules out of there. I knew that was gonna be the second thing it did because I've done this enough times now. But like, yeah, I mean, you were right to be worried about that, but also completely incorrect. Got him.
I once when I was in grad school, we had like, it was really silly, but we had a project we had to do, writing a bunch of code for MATLAB, and I'm like, we're gonna use GitHub. Me and one other guy on the team knew how to use GitHub. It's great. We thought we taught the other guys on our team how to use GitHub. Nope. We had this whole thing where one of them every time was basically like zipping the folder into itself, and so it was just every time would be another folder with the old version in it and all the new code again.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he did it, but it was like turtles all the way down of like, it's like, oh my God, what is happening?
I also dig the commit messages. They're usually pretty like decently explanatory based on what it told me.
That is good. Yeah.
Then it puts generated with Claude Code in there and links to itself, which I'm fine with. And like, I think what may be missing here is I'm not sure that my details are in Git, because I think co-authored by is usually me.
Yeah.
I don't think I've signed it. Like, I don't think I've added my Git credentials type stuff to this machine yet because it's fresh as of last night. But I'll fix that for future. But yeah, proceed. So now it's committing the main branch. So now we can tell it like, we're going to add a new feature, make a new feature branch. Let's validate that it works before checking in, that kind of stuff. But now you've got a Git repo, which is, fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you can come back here and what's control? Shoot, I don't have control. Let me see what happens if I swap my keyboard to Mac, maybe. Do I not have the ability to send a control key? What's going on? I guess I don't. That's fine. I don't need a control key. Who needs a control key?
You don't need to stop things ever.
I could rebind it. What is control C in this weird world I'm in? Because control rebinds to Mac.
Command.
The Mac key in here.
What about the Windows key?
I'm trying to see if any of these. Nope. My goodness, now I'm running all kinds of stuff. Function.
What are you using here?
This is Parsec. So this is basically remote desktop. But I don't know what Parsec. Oh, virtual key press. Well, no, but it's not going to send control because it's like remapped in Parsec. It's remapped the control key. That's annoying.
Yeah, I think you have to swap the command and control for Mac OS.
Interesting. I could just terminate this window. It's fine. I'll just do that every time. You can see git main. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to do over there was git main. I need to know they're remapping. I don't know what they remapped the other keys to. Like, where did they map control to? Because it doesn't seem to be working on any of my keys that you would think it would work from. It doesn't seem to have swapped it to where like Windows key would be. That doesn't
connecting to a Mac OS. It should be control.
No, it's not. Let's add this. Let's add this next piece. So do I still have the? Yeah, I was gonna say, do I still have that on my clipboard? Because that's gonna be really annoying. Create a new feature branch. we also want to detect this MP3 URL as a Rickroll. What? Tables. You're not wrong.
No.
You're not wrong. Chris would probably say that. We want to detect this MP3 URL as a Rickroll as well. I think that should be sufficient.
I mean, do you want to get really weird?
How so?
Let's make it so that if it's that one, it finds a GIF or image of Craig Dennis and puts that up instead of the Rick Astley one. That might be too weird.
That may be esoteric, but it may work. Yeah, let's try it. If you detect this particular MP3, instead of showing the Rickroll GIF, display an image of Craig Dennis, who works at Cloudflare. Just to, disambiguate other Craig Dennis's. Let's try it.
We're going for it.
This recorded version of Never Gonna Give You Up and post to YouTube specifically to Rickroll, Alex and Brent. I mean, fair. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Chris, if you record yourself playing Never Gonna Give You Up on guitar and singing it, it won't be disappointing. I'll enjoy watching it.
So you can see why this is like my favorite workflow, because there's like very little friction. It is very much
wild.
It is very little friction. It'll go off and do a bunch of stuff. We haven't even let it just go.
No.
Right? Because I've purposefully said we're gonna hit 1 every time so you can see the interruptions. But like it's so cool that like what it's getting done behind the scenes. Like obviously it's not a groundbreaking sort of application that it's building, but we've added some weird stuff to this one that I wasn't sure how well it would work. So it's adding a constant for the,
and like if I was doing this, I would probably like have a list
pattern matching. It's also pattern matching on it to grab the ID.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting. So this one's now it's doing some videos. This is all stuff that like we shouldn't be caring about, but it's fun to see it happening. If we're truly vibing, I just trust that what it's adding. But being a programmer, I can see what's getting added in little snippets, and it's like, interesting. I wonder where it's going to pull the image of Craig from. That will be a fun one.
One thing I want to do is because I have some lights like LED, like programmable LEDs in Arduino that I like have doing some basic things, and I want to take the existing code, throw it into something like this, and then because it might as well work from something that works, but then like let me basically explain in plain English how I want the lights to act and see if I can do it. Because like the hard part is like if I say like I want the lights to slowly pulse on and off, like thinking through the like light structure of like what that would look like is hard. The codes, it's one line of code that changes, or like 2 lines of timing, but like it's just something that I wouldn't want to think through.
This time it's asking if I want to start the thing in the background. This is one where I would typically say no, but I'm going to say yes. This is one where like I want to run the code, but I also don't have the ability to easily stop it at the moment. So I'm gonna let it do it.
Until Frog, I agree, slowly is a subjective word, but you can always tweak it.
Well, you can say, oh, that's too fast, or that's too slow. And like dial in by iteration. You're not going to get the speed right the first time you tried anyways.
Yeah. I would reach for this to write a debounce on key press for hardware. I don't know what that means. Oh, I got it. My bad. Now I do. I was thinking different context. So you'd write a debounce on your, for your hardware so that it didn't double tap too often.
Okay. So here's why I typically don't say yes to this.
What's happening?
I'm not sure we're going to break out of this. It has run npm start in the background, but it is not
doing something.
It has not prompted us to go test it like, or anything. So typically when it gets to wanting to do that, I normally say, no, I'll handle that part.
That makes sense.
What steps do I need to take to test this? I already know the answer to this, but like, might as well ask it. Yeah, so now we're on this. Now we're on the test the new MP3. I just know from like a couple of iterations from doing different stuff that like sometimes it'll do that. It'll get stuck running thing in the background, but like it doesn't know what it's testing. It just knows that the next thing it wants to do is run the server in the background. All right, so start the server. Open the browser to localhost 3000. Test the MP3 URL.
It's giving you full instructions. That's nice.
Yeah. This time, like it's like, hey, how would you actually test this now that it's implemented? So let's do
npm start.
npm. Oh, are we on the? Did it merge? What branch? What branch should I be in? Interesting.
I guess we're already in the branch.
Well, we're not though.
Oh, because it's a new terminal window.
Yeah, fair.
There.
It's because it wasn't a new terminal window. It's because it was an old terminal window. No, it didn't commit. It did not commit. So npm start. I did have one thing that I built that did commit, and I had to admonish it to say I want to test feature branches before you check in. It just assumed it was correct. I'm like, no.
I'm always right?
Oh, hello.
Error.
Oh, it's already running. It's already running.
Oh.
Can you stop your previous npm start PID? I want control. Yes.
Well, that worked.
I mean, I knew that was going to work. I've done this before. Just like I've done all kinds of like things where I was like, I wonder if I could do that. And it, more often than not, yes. And I'll show you another one of the ones that's super lazy that I've done.
It's a date.
Okay, it's running now. Let's go back over here to our Rickroll detector and refresh. And now it wants me to give it
the
classic
URL.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, we can improve. We can improve
that really easily. We can just find it. We can find an image and be like, use this image.
Yeah, like what did it do? Oh, did it try to grab a profile picture and just failed on the CDN image? It's like it tried to grab a profile image and it didn't quite work. So it could be, we could try just saying, hey, that image didn't work. Can you find another?
We got to do it that way. We got to vibe this out as much as possible.
That would be a way to, what is another node process. Okay, so we know that didn't quite get the job done. Terminate that out. Really close. The image didn't work. Can you find another image of Craig? And let it do that. I mean, it got everything else. It detected the MP3. It tried to grab, it's trying to find a profile. Sometimes you can see like it's doing a web search for Craig Dennis Cloudflare profile image photo, which, might work, might not. That is one of the downsides. We could give it a URL. Like we could give it a URL or we could point it at an image, but like I do want to see if it can reason through to one that works. I'll use a different approach and look for his GitHub avatar. Avatars.GitHub user content. That has potential. Craig's GitHub avatar is going to be the canonical. I'm okay with that. Let's go. That's fine.
We need to run it again.
We need to run it again. You're right. You are right, because I'm in this weird world where I can't just kill the npm process. I also can't really alt tab all that well either. Okay, I still have on the nope, because I copied that thing. It's here though. No, it's not here anymore either. Crap. I need that. I need that. I need that URL again. Wait, it's here. If I go,
if you scroll up in your context, it'll be there.
That's true. That's true. I'll just do that. That's what I would do anyways. Typically. I keep hitting what I think is command tab. And it's not. Back here. There we go.
That was easy.
This multi-machine situation is not working out.
Sounds like a lot.
Oh, what did I do? I've got crosshairs. What is going on? Why do I have crosshairs?
You don't need a mouse.
Oh, that's not. Still not. Okay. Classic dot mp3. I was able to do that. Okay, there it is. That's very Rickroll-y. Shoosh. Okay. Check. That.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
clearly Craig.
That is Craig Dennis from Cloudflare. I'm ship it.
That is great. That's not even his YouTube file picture.
Yeah, I don't know. So this isn't Craig.
This isn't Craig. Either his GitHub name is one word, Craig S. Dennis.
His GitHub username is Craig S. Dennis, right?
Craig's Dennis, yeah.
Yeah, Craig S. Dennis. Craig's codes. Craig's codes. Yeah, they give me a Space Invader. Can we use the avatar from that account? Bro, Chris, we're asking it to like find a person's
That's fairly obscure.
That's really obscure, dude. I think you're being a little harsh. I know he capped it, but still.
It's I feel like this is one where I would have just given it the picture normally.
Oh yeah, I would have too, but I want to see if it can get there.
I know,
you know?
I appreciate it.
I want to see if it can get there. We could definitely just give it the URL. It'd be fine. Hell, I can't even hit a control key. What do I have?
What isn't it like MPX that will like auto refresh for you?
There's like NodeMon. There's like a couple different ways to do it. I could actually ask. I have done in the past. I've asked Claude Code to add that for me, so that it can automatically redo it. That's probably a good call for how much crap I'm going through just to try to hit control. This is still on my clipboard. Thank you. That is Craig Dennis.
That's Craig Dennis.
That is Craig Dennis, and we got there without having to explicitly give it the URL.
Try another one. Try twill y'all. Twill.io / not a Rickroll.
Twill.io
/ not dash
a dash
Rick dash roll.
Dash roll.
Yeah. Oh,
marked safe. So that should have gone to.
I think so. Go to that URL just normally.
Yeah. Huh.
Yep.
Okay. So back to Claude then. It looks like you didn't detect the redirect to the MP3 from this URL. Can you make sure to catch?
I wouldn't give it the URL.
I mean, that's fair.
Because if you give it the URL, then it might just hard code that URL.
I doubt it, but like I take your point. Yeah. You didn't detect a redirect to the MP3 URL the way you did for the YouTube version. Can you handle redirects to the MP3 URL? There, try that.
Hello?
Now it wants to know the URL. I tried this URL and it didn't work. It said it was safe. There. Joystick Nick, yeah. I feel like that one can stay. I feel like that one can stay in automod land. It's on the line. It's on the line. Half court shot question. What's the half court shot question?
Is Twilio API for receiving inbound calls fully supported with multi calls, more than 1,000 to the same phone number?
There are rate limits. I don't know how far they can be increased in terms of inbound. That's something we can look up though. That should be.
We'll keep going. I'll look it up.
That should be easy to find. Let me try this edit to server.js. Realistically, this is illustrating a lot of the things that I wanted to illustrate. Problem paths.
Yeah.
Trying to see like what happens when you run into trouble, like how do you troubleshoot an error? A lot of times it's just copy and pasting it in, that kind of thing. We had much more like direct success than I wasn't sure how direct success.
It was pretty, yeah.
It was pretty direct this time. Sometimes you run into trouble. Let's do npm start again. I've had more trouble with my machine than I've had building this. Which is, that is something. Check URL. It's still marked it safe. Interesting. So we did absolutely. Oh, here we go.
What's the problem?
Final URL resolved is demo.twilio.com port 443.
It's just the redirect's a little different.
Yeah, we did something a little got a little internal nonsense going on there. So, let's just the reason it did this verbose logging is because we can take this directly over to Claude so they can see what's going
on. To answer your question, Nachapol. So, according to Twilio docs, Twilio places no limits on the rate at which projects can receive inbound calls. Caveat: with an approved business PCP, which is a primary customer profile. You create that in the Trust Hub. So basically, if you register your business and you tell us who you are and give us information, then we don't rate limit you on inbound phone calls. That being said, make sure your server can handle it because you're going to get a webhook every time one comes in. Is that a good answer? I think it was.
Yeah.
So answer is yes. You can do it.
Contains a port number. Can you adapt your logic to handle? Can you adapt your logic to handle any port in the URL? Here's the log of what happened. And just paste that in.
Okay.
Now it'll reason through, like it can see what actually happened, right? Like a lot of times it'll add logging to the code so that you can take the log results back to it, which is great. So
this is real live.
It's definitely real live. Listen, this is why I don't like pre-recorded live content, because it drives this notion that like I don't know if what I'm watching is actually live or not. Did you guys pre-record this? There's been enough mistakes in this. They like if you watch long enough, you'll know that this is live. But yeah, absolutely happy to answer questions when they come up, if we know the answer, and if not, we can pass it off to other members of the team.
Yeah, that was a pretty quick Google, but yeah. If you need me to drop the link for creating a primary customer profile, let me know, and I'll drop that in console. But you can probably Google it too. It's part of our trust hub.
100% definitely prefer real live to fake live.
Yeah,
I might ask it to do the auto reload on the next pass. We've also done more with this than I thought we were going to. when we started on this one, I didn't think we were gonna keep rolling with it. I thought we were gonna like move to something. We will move to something else, but like I thought this was gonna be like a one and done real quick.
It could have been.
We've added some stuff. There it is. It got it.
There we go. Sweet.
Does the old one still work? The true test. What's the old one?
Twill.io/ is it a role? I think.
Is it a role? For whatever reason, my double click to select all isn't working either. Is it a role? Okay. Now it doesn't show.
Check it again. Maybe it just got messed up.
It doesn't show the GIF now. I think. Oh wait, it did.
Okay. It was just a moment.
It was a cache issue.
Yeah.
It was a cache issue.
I think this Rickroll detector is going to turn into our multi-million.
This is a startup idea we got here.
Yeah. Just tell people to visit localhost 3000.
Exactly. Okay, so that then we'll put that on billboards everywhere. Go to localhost port 3000 if you ever are worried that a link that you've received might be a Rickroll. So yeah, this worked. I mean, there's rough edges. There's going to be rough edges, obviously. One of the things I wanted to show you that's kind of fun is like the degree to which you can really truly be lazy. That click wasn't working. I had to hit enter. That may actually be a Mac OS bug, that one. I've seen that on some dialogues in this beta. The really lazy one that I've done on a handful of occasions is can you open this in VS Code for me? Because like think it through. Like, I have to open another terminal, do code dot, or I have to open video code and open the folder.
Yeah.
It's like, can you just run that for me? Which it's going to bash code dot, which is something I totally could have done. But yeah, I've done that on a few occasions just because I was
now you can look through it
in the flow of talking to it. But now you've got the code and you can actually poke around. So it actually pulled 4 YouTube IDs that it detected, that it probably found from a search for like, what is a canonical Rickroll. So it pulled 4 IDs to check against. There's probably more, and you probably could run into them eventually, but it's a really good start. And now it's checking for 443 and 80. So if it was explicitly returning 443 in an HTTPS or explicitly returning an 80 in an HTTP, that's cut. Obviously, it's various forms of the YouTube URL.
Wow, this is way more than I would have done.
You may not have known. Look for youtube.be or youtube.com/watch ? Which is the normal one, or YouTube embed. Like you may not have known for that. This did. So then it's going to do a pattern match. And that's the kind of stuff where like just right there,
I would never have written that
value.
Code.
That's value. You would not have written that code.
No.
Like in terms of like the areas where you can learn, right? Even if you're doing something that you already know how to do, like if this web page is totally in your wheelhouse, you may not have. Oh my god, I did this again. I forgot I don't have a control key. I need to go do this. That's what I wanted to do. You may not have written that code, and that's fine.
Right.
Like it's a learning opportunity for all of us, I suppose. But yeah, I mean it's going through the logic for checking it and whatever. Check the URL. MP3 detected at the final URL. It's looking for the MP3. Looking for the video IDs, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's cool.
You know where I feel like I would use this potentially, or would have used this in the past? I always preferred writing back-end code to front-end code. And
so you could use it to generate a front end.
I mean, it's front end's like pretty much if it looks good, it's good. You know, like
I mean, this is not winning any awards for like design, but
it's fine.
Could get it somewhere to where it looked a little better, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, that's fine. But yeah, I just want to show that's like the code. The code's there. We have invalidated the vibes by checking the code, but that's okay. We vibed to this point. Feature looks good. Check in that branch.
Nice.
Commit the branch, whatever. It's gonna know what I mean. That's the best part too, is like you don't have to be super precise. Like it knows what I mean. It's gonna commit and merge, most likely.
Git merge.
Actually, it may not merge because I didn't say merge. I said check in, so it may just commit.
I would have to teach him that I always want squash merges.
You merge it. Yeah, there it goes. Checkout main, merge feature branch. It's cool that you can see the steps that it's about to do, because like it said, get checkout, get merge, get status. So it's running the merge now. It's going to run get status just to check to make sure that it worked. I like that it checks its work in that case. But yeah, it's all merged in, and if we wanted to, we could delete the branch. But yeah, I've gone through this workflow for several things. One of the things that I really like.
Okay, Robertables. The last place I worked would not have agreed with you.
Well, that's fun. Fight.
I don't care. You can win it. I think it looks nice to have like one big commit, but I hear you about the I never used git bisect either.
Gotcha. One of the things that I mentioned earlier that I really like is telling this to keep a log. I've done that on a few things. It's really cool for like looking back. I knew that I was going to repeat the process a bunch. I wonder if I can do this as a post thing.
Try it. That'd be cool.
Can you create a build log dot well, what do you want to call it? Process.md?
Yeah.
That documents all of my prompts and what you worked on after those prompts. Because I really did like looking back on the process, especially since I was going to repeat it. Like, I'm going to try this again for the purposes of recording it for YouTube. I'd love to see like how does this work? Like, if I do it again, now I can compare the process between the two and see like what decisions did this one make versus that one, because you really are going to get a different experience every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get I think sometimes you'll get like you'll get the dumb intern that just doesn't know what they're doing at all. And sometimes you'll get like this like mid-tier dev that can just nail everything. Cool. And here it's creating the process stuff.
What I was actually noticing is because we didn't look at any of the code, and when it was doing the second feature with the Rickroll MP3 URL, I was like, oh, in my mind, I would actually create a map of this is the URL, and then this is the GIF or the image we're going to use to like to have a list of URLs to detect. But it was doing something so different on the YouTube side from the get-go that it didn't make sense to do that.
Yeah, so here it's got the initial prompt, the work completed from the initial prompt, the prompt back that said it worked well. Let's do a Git repo. Like it just basically logged the whole flow, including like, here's where we messed up, and here it went and fetched this avatar instead. So really cool thing to add to your flow with this.
Wait. That's the one it eventually did, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the mistake was up here.
Because I was gonna say, what if it was just a caching thing and it had it right the first time?
Oh, that would have been really funny. It may have, actually, since we saw the caching issue on the other thing. You may be onto something. It may have worked the first time. We didn't think of trying it twice. So that's interesting. Like, that is something that I would put into your flow early. Like, tell it to log stuff early so that it's doing it throughout the process, so that if something happens and your session ended or whatever, you wouldn't be left in the dark of not having it all. But I don't know. I think this is fun. And then like when you're done, you can just quit. If you are using credits, notice this didn't charge me anything. This was just all part of the $20 a month on Pro. If you're using the API directly with an API key instead of a subscription, this is the point where it would tell you how many tokens were used, what the breakdown was for which models it used, and what the price is. But it doesn't,
cool.
It doesn't show it here. So so that's a thing. I wanted to just briefly fire up this Xcode beta. And I'm just
you missed it.
Since we're lower-ish on time,
yeah.
Do we want to try it, or do you want to see the fully? Let's try it.
Tell me what's going on with tell me what's new in Xcode. I'm curious.
If it doesn't work, then we'll go to the fully baked, like partially baked one already.
Cool. And I know we missed it a few minutes ago, but Gamberson Games said Parsec Godot wasn't working for him. Sorry to hear that.
I missed that. Yeah. I'm gonna create a Pokédex. Okay. iOS app using Swift UI in the next couple minutes.
See it work.
I'm gonna put this inside of Xcode. Cool. Let me full screen. So what they've added, this is if you're used to normal Xcode, this is normal Xcode. We'll let this spin up so you can see. If you've not used Swift UI before, this pane over on the right is the preview pane. As you make changes to your code, you'll see what it looks like on a phone, essentially. So we kind of have to wait for that to spin up. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. There we go. So it says hello world right now. It's got this little globe icon. If I said hello Twitch instead, it says hello Twitch. And what they've added here in this version in the beta, which feels very beta at the moment, is this new conversation pane where you can interact with ChatGPT. There's also a way to add, if you go to, I forget where the settings are for this. There's a way to add other providers. You can add Claude, for instance. It's in the settings. I'm not going to worry about it for now, but I did try to do that last night. Didn't quite get it. So we're going to do a similar kind of prompt here because this can actually edit the code. I want to display the original 151 Pokemon from, I'm actually going to give it just to limit the amount of ridiculousness because I didn't test not doing this last night, but there's a Poke API. It's a really fun example to work with if you're using a new framework or something like that, and you just
that's fun.
You just want to vibe. It has like all of the Pokemon in it. There's an API.
Oh wow, Andrew's in the air over Halifax.
Oh, fun.
Wow.
To get the data from.
Hello to Andrew at a higher elevation than me right now, I guess. Way to one up me.
Show a list of the Pokemon with their name and a small image on the left. Details view should show info about that particular Pokemon. And this should be sufficient. This is what I did last night. Let's see what happens. What I have found with this is there's a kind of rate limiting issue with this at the moment that kind of runs into its kind of token window pretty quickly, but let's see what happens. It's worth a try. I just wanted to throw this one in there as like a bonus piece of content because I just got this, like just tried this, got this working last night. It's making the same mistake, which is cool.
Well, it's consistent.
I like seeing consistency. It's making a very easily fixable mistake. It's done observable and published on these, but it hasn't imported what's the name of the thing? It starts with a C.
Can you just ask it to fix it?
All you have to do is click this and generate fix for issue. This is
cool.
This is
That's
also
sweet.
new. It starts with a C.
Content viewer.
Combine. It's the Combine framework.
Okay.
So it's going to import Combine, and now it should be okay. I don't know what all it did. Oh, failed to build.
Your screen is quite small, by the way, but that's okay.
Oh, I know. I can't bump this particular one up. Pokemon Detail View has the same issue. That's why. Got to look at its other code that it generated. It has the same Combine issue, which is fine. Easy to fix. Hello? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm here.
It's generating in the background. Not you,
okay.
the app. Let's go back to Content View and see. Now it should build.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay. It messed up a little bit.
That's Bulbasaur's.
Okay. Let's see. Everything is Bulbasaur. Instead of, and that's the first in the Pokedex, so that makes sense.
Okay. There's no A's?
They're not alphabetical.
Oh, weird. I didn't know that.
Everything is just say everything is Bulbasaur. Okay. How Pokemon IDs are extracted. Data source, results. What could go wrong? Likely issue. Quick next steps. Can you fix it? This is where I ran into problems last night because it's so verbose in its responses that you'll run into the context window pretty quickly. Okay. This actually worked on first try last night. So thinking through like things that may work, may not work. This is brand new. So that's part of the issue we're running into is that it's sort of, you're at the mercy of a thing that's in flux. Oh, you know what? I made some changes to this last night, trying to like push it a little further, and it's in a broken state. I will tell you though, last night I was able to get this like pretty quickly up to displaying them correctly. Like
in a native.
It was a first pass, like full list, and the detail view worked for all of them after like a second set of prompts. Anyways, this is brand new. I just wanted to call attention to this because it's like hot off the press and like something I'm really looking into because I have done mobile development, and if this ends up working even marginally well, it's going to be fun because for the same reasons where the other stuff is fun for prototyping, this is awesome for prototyping. So like, I mean, even just getting a working list quickly last night was cool. I don't know what its issue was today with not being able to pull from the API correctly, but again, your mileage may vary on how good the particular agent you're working with is. What's ironic is I bet you Claude Code could do this.
Yeah.
Like where this is falling down is this is closer to like old Cursor where it didn't have the agent mode. Notice that this is like sometimes just giving me what it wants me to do and not doing it for me. And like, you know what I mean? Like versus the current agent models will just go do it.
Yeah.
Run off and figure out how to do it. But
that makes sense.
It is what it is.
Brent, I caught a Pokemon.
You caught a Pokemon? Oh, that is a cat type. That is a cat type.
She's a little upset because she was just napping, but I couldn't get a different camera working in time.
She's weak against stream appearance. What is she strong against? Food? No.
Strong against she's weak against child. I'll say she does not like the baby very much.
Yeah. It looks like this is still just Bulbasaur. This also tried to do much more. Thanks for your patience.
Is this part of the what's the like sycophantic OpenAI?
Yeah. This tried to do
You're
more.
so right. I am terrible.
There it goes.
Oh, nice. And they got little things. That's cool.
This tried to do more in terms of project structure than the other one did. So this one did a content view and a detail view. I think ultimately, pulling the structs out, like pulling the view models and stuff out of this would be better practice. But like, I'm not going to knock it for that. I didn't really tell it anything about project structure, and I don't think Apple's gotten there yet with the tuning of these things.
Right.
Like, this is all 151, and they're progressive loading, right? Like, you can see the little spinners.
And if you click on them, you didn't get there yet.
That I'm wondering. That may not work. This is what happened last night too. The detail view got created, but it didn't actually load details. So very similar.
Great start, though. You did that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and really without knowing what it ran into. Like it would have taken me a while to find the mistake that it had made here. With the API call. But it's cool. It's cool.
Nice.
It's I dig this because like there's all kinds of things that you could just quickly prototype.
Right.
And create a little app that you can now run on your phone. Right.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm curious now to play, because I hadn't really ventured too far into trying it, but I want to venture into seeing how well Claude Code does with mobile development.
That's a good. I think that'd be fun to see, and I think like, I don't know, there might be a lot of internally for Twilio, like, can we help people figure out how to, I have so much hair on me now. To like vibe code their like front ends for interacting with people via the different channels. Even
so back to like moving away from screen content for a second.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think that I've been exploring the most that I think is helpful to look at here is when you're trying out a new API. Like one of the examples, you saw it in my directory, the play MP3. That was an experiment on, let me see what the LLM does if I just ask it for a phone application that plays an MP3 when the caller calls it.
Okay.
The experiment there is less about, can it do that? I know it can do that. It's a very simple problem. The experiment was, does it recommend Twilio?
Oh, did it?
Yes. Does it recommend Twilio? And also, one of the things that I did was I asked it, the first time I did this, I've done it a few times. It's always recommended Twilio so far, by the way. The first time I did it, though, I asked, because it put in a placeholder for the URL for the MP3. And I said, does Twilio have a recommended test MP3 file? You know what I was hoping it would give me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Classic.mp3, which it did. And it claimed that was the official test MP3 URL. And it said, my favorite part is it said it played something else. It said it played Hello Monkey or something like that. Which I love that it is a Rickroll MP3. And I didn't inquire. I do want to know, but I didn't inquire. That doesn't play Hello Monkey. What are you talking about? To see like if it was actually Rickrolling me as well. But yeah, it pulled up the classic.mp3 URL, which is great. So anyways, that's the kind of stuff I'm playing with. YouTube video coming soon, probably within the next couple days, so that I don't get in trouble. But yeah, I'm gonna do a whole series of stuff. The first one's going to be what is vibe, all the stuff we talked about earlier. I didn't get to my analogy, which is cars.
Cars.
This was in an article, and I've kind of elaborated on it. But self-driving, the different degrees of self-driving.
Yes,
there are cars, I've driven them, that have nothing, no logic, no cruise control. I've driven a car that didn't have cruise control before, so not even speed maintenance, like no auto braking, none of that stuff, none of the features, all the way up through driving a car that's got full self-driving, where you can let go of the wheel, and you still need to be there, and you're probably going to need to help every now and then, and it doesn't work off of highways usually, unless you're in a Tesla and you really trust things that you shouldn't.
I have a lot of opinions about that, and I also have a car that drives itself on highways, and I love it.
So my thing is like, there's varying degrees of sensitivity around even that. And we're talking about cars, right? Like there are people that just absolutely won't turn those features on ever. And I'm like, I'm the opposite side. My car gets 75% of the way there, but they haven't gotten the certification. The car can do it.
Yeah.
I know it can do it. It can do highway navigation and lane keeping and turning as much as your car can.
Mm-hmm.
Hyundai has not done the certification in the United States to turn it on. So the car nags you and turns it off and like makes you put your hands on the wheels and all that kind of stuff. The car can do it. I've seen it. I've made it do it. There are ways. But like I see this in the same way. Cruise control, adaptive cruise control even is like that AI assisted coding model where it's going to maintain the speed. It's going to like make sure you don't run into the car in front of you, probably has auto braking, maybe even has start stop in traffic, but you still need to turn. You still need to change lanes. Versus like vibe coding is that full self-driving situation where even on local roads, it's the Tesla full self-driving.
It's the Tesla full self-driving as opposed to like what we did was actually more like we were getting really close to the Tesla one, but like we were also taking steps along the way.
Yeah, I mean, we were cautious about it, which I think you should be, even if you're in the Tesla especially if you're in the Tesla full self-driving. You probably should be cautious, and you probably should know how to drive a car.
Yeah,
right?
Make That's sure you don't come across any semis in the middle of the road that'll think are just bridges.
I think that's the other aspect of this where I think this analogy works so well, is that you really need to know how to drive a car.
Yeah.
To be successful at the moment. Now, is that always going to be the case? I don't know. Like, is that always going to be the case with cars? Who knows? But like, if you know how to drive a car, you can get behind the wheel of a full self-driving car and know that if you run into problems, you can fix it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a corollary here when it comes to vibe coding. You may run into trouble, but you know how to code, so you'll be able to get out of it. That's not true of other, like I wouldn't tell a PM who doesn't know how to drive a car to hop in a full self-driving car and trust that the car can drive itself, because that might end in disaster.
Or Waymo.
So anyways, that's kind of my analogy, kind of my take on
I like that.
I want this to pan out a little bit. I don't think people should be scared of trying this.
No, I'm so glad we got to do that. Claude Code looks awesome. I'm really excited to play with more of it.
Chat, what did you
guys think
of chat that's here? Do you want to see more of this? Was that interesting? Would you like to maybe tell me what you want to see me build in the future, or whatever? Let me know. Let me know if you're interested. More of this. Okay. What if next Tuesday there was more of this?
Let's do it. I don't know if I'm going to be there, but you're going to be there.
I will definitely be here on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
This is a segue, Alex.
This is a segue. Great. No. Bianca and I are going to take a little break over the summer and let Brent drive this vibe code train. I mean, it's always been vibes, so it's kind of the same thing. I'll be back every once in a while. Like I'm going to try to get on at least once a month. I'm sure Bianca will be back too, but we're going to let Brent drive the Tuesday 2 p.m. Eastern time slot for the next for the next little bit over the summer while we relax and luxuriate.
Yeah, and with the caveat that I am also probably going to take some time off during the summer. Yeah. So like you may not get me every Tuesday, but I am going to take over this slot. And we're gonna do vibe stream. I'm gonna let the stream drive itself.
Yeah, I mean that's a question there.
So what we really should do over the course of time is build something that drives the stream.
Yeah.
Like with vibe coding. I don't know. I think, we know tools that allow you to do things on stream with WebSockets. So I'm pretty sure I can tell Claude how to interact with, OBS WebSockets and kind of determine what we want to do. I don't know. It's worth a try.
That'd be super silly and super fun. It'd be really fun if it was just like a stream where we just like showed up and the AI like had a plan.
It's a very meta stream. Yeah, we all know chat drives Brent streams. It's true. Chat drives the stream, and then we can make AI also drive the stream.
Yeah, a little pair programming.
I fully expect to be heckled by Alex and Bianca at various times.
Will be.
I know Bianca just loves being the viewer. She mentioned that at one point. She loves being a viewer in the streams. So anyways, that's that is the plan over at least the next couple weeks, probably next couple months. July is usually the spot where I take a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if you see a pop-up stream from my dad's house. That does happen.
Well, we'll never know unless you change the background.
It depends on if I do bot or B.
Or B.
Probably will. I think I do like the bot for this content because we're using a bot to make code. I'll just be a code bot. If the eagle's in the background, you know.
There you
go. Unless I have to do it from one of my sister's rooms instead. But I mean, they don't live there anymore. This was cool. This was cool.
This was a lot of fun. I want to come back and do this with you. And at some point I'll drive. So
yeah, and like hopefully, I mean, well, you kind of drove today. This was your app idea that we built.
True.
I didn't know where we were gonna go with that because I was just gonna do one of the
I just
examples.
Came up with it. I'm just
that was a good idea on the fly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fun of this is like you could just have a goofy idea and go for it.
Yeah.
I gotta see if I remember how OBS works because I'll be producing from OBS and I'm not sold. I'm not sold that I still have that ability, but we'll see. It's been too long.
Oh well. Thank you all.
Yeah.
This was a ton of fun. Super good chat today. It's always good. I feel like somebody like one of those icons just, hey Denver, you're the best crowd we've had yet. It's like, chat, you're the best chat we've had yet.
Chat, a lot of you are the same chat we've always had, but you're still the best ever.
You're the best ever. But today especially.
Especially today. Yeah. Y'all rock, seriously. And I will be back next week to tell you that you rock then too. And we'll play around some more, hopefully maybe a new beta release in Xcode. Maybe that'll get better over time. But more back on more on the Claude Code front and playing around there. I also wanted to show, like, I had so many things planned and we just did one, and that's fine. That's cool. That leaves me more material. But I want to look at OpenAI's Codex CLI, which operates similar to Claude Code. Also dive into Cursor and Klein and GitHub Copilot and all of that stuff over time as well. As you see, I love Claude Code, so we'll do a lot of Claude Code. But I do want to, Windsurf. I do want to compare all these things over time. So
nice.
I will see you next week, Alex. I will talk to you like in a couple minutes.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot. I will talk to you a lot more than I will talk to chat. So this has been fun. We'll see you next time, friends. Bye.